US carried out Operation Midnight Hammer in Iran with B-2 bombers and other package aircraft. This covert operation changed the dynamics of Israel-Iran war, forcing Iran to accept ceasefire and literally give up its homegrown nuclear weapon program. This is how the US military parades: calm, precise, cautious, disciplined, and perfect. Until 2016, B-2 split bomber has no parallel. But interestingly, in 2016, US B-2 split bomber got a Chinese stealthy buddy in making. The birth of Chinese Xi'an H-20 created a stealthy parallel. However, in espionage, stealing, and making copycats, People's Republic of China has got no parallel. With the most secretive Chinese B-2 copycat, it is expected to introduce a new threat dynamics to the United States. Chinese nuclear triad may now attack even major portion of continental US. In January, China allegedly tested a B-2 bomber copycat dubbed as Xi'an H-20 stealth bomber with a reported range of over 8,500 miles. B-2 bomber, in its operational sortie of Op Midnight Hammer, got aerial refueling. However, Chinese copycat can attack US mainland in a single sortie without refueling, thus making it totally invisible to the enemy radars. Chinese version can carry up to 45 tons, including 10 tons of nuclear or conventional weapons. Chinese S-2 bomber features a special round upper fuselage, blended wing body, curved upper air inlets, and essentially no vertical structures if compared with the B-2 split bomber. The world got the winds of the Chinese copycat only in 2016 when People's Liberation Army Air Force General Ma Xiaoxian announced that China was developing a new type of long-range bomber on the Air Force's open day. The development was officially confirmed in 2018 by a Chinese military spokesperson. In July 2022, Chinese state media suggested the H-20 was close to taking its maiden flight. During 14th National People's Congress in March 2024, Vice Commander of the People's Liberation Army Air Force, Wang Wei, indicated that H-20 will be revealed very soon. The world could see Xi'an H-20 images appeared on social media in January 2025, but were not officially confirmed by China. However, Federal Bureau of Investigation and US intelligence agency sleuth, including CIA, knew China trying to develop a stealth bomber since 1999. FBI sleuths were keeping an eye on an Indian origin US citizen, an engineer who was helping Chinese to gain access to America's most secretive B-2 bomber developed by Northrop Grumman. The story of military technology and industrial espionage is very thrilling. Naushad Govadia, born to a Parsi family in Mumbai, Govadia was a brilliant young student. According to US Department of Justice, he migrated to US in 1963 at the age of 19 to study aeronautical engineering and later became a naturalized citizen of America in 1969. Just a year after his citizenship, he joined Northrop Corporation, which was later renamed as Northrop Grumman. He joined Northrop in November 1968 and continued to work there until 1986. As a design engineer, Govadia was reportedly one of the principal designers of the B-2 split stealth bomber. As a design engineer, Govadia was reportedly one of the principal designers of the B-2 split stealth bomber, who conceived and conceptually designed the B-2 bomber, its entire propulsion system, and billed himself as the father of the technology that protects the B-2 stealth bomber from heat-seeking missiles. But fate took another turn. In 1986, Govadia was forced to leave Northrop after being diagnosed with a rare blood disorder. He then started a defense consulting firm in New Mexico. He then joins a top-secret DARPA project. DARPA is Pentagon's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, as you are aware, which sponsors high-risk, high-payoff research. Like most of the Govadia's projects, the DARPA contract involved stealth technology, an effort to eliminate aircraft contrails, the telltale streak from the plane's exhaust that comes from the behind, which forms the ground, appears to be white smoke. Govadia submitted his report to DARPA and was paid only $45,000 US DARPA took his research and decided to proceed without Govadia. He was stunned. He had expected to advance to the more lucrative phase of the project. One he expected would be worth 2 million contract something. To ensure that the scientists could no longer participate, DARPA officials raised the classification of his study to a security level for which he was not cleared. What a strange phenomena in DARPA. Govadia became wary of the fact that he could no longer legally access his own work. This provoked Govadia to write angry letters to the Secretary of the Air Force, members of the Congress, and his own family members. He wrote in one of the letters, "I was one of the fathers of the US Air Force Northrop B-2 stealth bomber." Govadia turned his attention to international clients now. He also opened Swiss and other bank accounts and created European charities. Financial moves prosecutors alleged were part of a scheme to avoid taxes. In 1999, Govadia bought property on a cliff in Maui that overlooked the ocean and, with the help of a large construction loan, began building a $1.8 million home. But he struggled to keep up with the monthly mortgage payments. And soon, according to prosecutors, they argued in court later, he crossed the line, leveraging his classified knowledge for profit. Govadia began touting his expertise in stealth technology, specifically infra-red heat suppression, to potential overseas clients. As part of his efforts to market himself, he faxed information promoting his stealth abilities to the Swiss Defense Ministry, a European aircraft company, and an Israeli businessman. Data he maintained was inaccurate marketing gibberish, but that the government insisted was classified. At about the same time, Govadia also began talking to the Chinese. In 2003, Govadia began a covert partnership with Chinese officials. He made 6 trips to Chinese cities, including Chengdu and Shenzhen. His job was to help China build a stealth cruise missile by designing an exhaust nozzle that reduced infrared and radar signatures, just like the B-2s. For the work, he was paid $110,000 US as a consultant, including on a project to reduce the heat signature from a cruise missile's exhaust nozzle. It was during these visits to China, US custom officials alerted the FBI. Soon FBI and Air Force security agents have been monitoring Govadia and his trips to China, though they did not act until the fall of 2005, when they arrived at his Maui home armed with a search warrant. Govadia acknowledged providing classified information about stealth technology, a 1960s era CIA reconnaissance plane, and a 1970s era cruise missile. He made frank admissions of his Chinese collaborations. He was arrested and charged with espionage. At trial, Govadia argued that the FBI had twisted his words. He insisted that he had given the Chinese nothing of value. He had simply made harmless adjustments to the Chinese cruise missiles exhaust data and taken their money. Who he was fooling too. On January 24, 2011, Chief District Judge Susan Oki Molave sentenced Govadia to 32 years in prison. The conviction and sentence were affirmed by the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit on July 28, 2014. So this was Govadia, who passed on the stealth technology of B-2 bomber to China. China, they always make copycat, but they are very intelligent people. They know how to reverse engineer. They know how to develop from that onwards a foundation which they build from the copycat equipment, and they build on that. So never underestimate the Chinese intelligence, the Chinese equipment. China is a great civilization. They focus on science and technology. They know if they want to keep their nation secure, if they want to expand and they want to dictate the terms, they should have a very strong military, a military that functions on high tech. I hope this story will give you more insight into China's aircraft program. Thank you very much for watching National Defense. Keep watching and do subscribe National Defense. You can always like and share. To support, you can also become channel member. Thanks for watching National Defense once again indeed. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.